Hey y'all, I'm Taylor Chandler, licensed marriage and family therapist, personal development coach. I have a reaction video for you today. I wasn't expecting to do this, but here we are. Over here is Dr. Tressie. She responded to one of my reels and said I was unqualified to be having a certain conversation and that I was misrepresenting data. I replied to her reel, and this was all on Instagram, y'all, by the way, at I am Taylor Chandler. I replied to her reel saying that if anybody wanted to meet with me live synchronously to correct anything that they're saying is distorted or to challenge any of the things that I'm presenting, you're absolutely welcome to. I didn't know she was who she was. She is a sociologist. She is an author. She wrote the book Thick. I had heard of the book Thick. So when I replied to her comment, and I'm just thinking this is someone who has over the last couple of weeks been saying things contrary to the conversation, to whatever point I'm making. And then I decided to reply to one of her comments, her most recent comment about me being unqualified, that stood out. And I responded to it because I responded to it because, if someone's going to say that, I think, if you can prove it, that's totally fine. If you have more to say, if you have something more accurate to say, we would love to hear it, because the main goal is to be, the main goal is to be clear, to be accurate. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all know I'm new to this. To be clear, to StreamYard at least, and YouTube. The main goal is to be clear, to be accurate, and to help people have healthy relationships, help people have healthy selves. That's really first and foremost. And for marriage, family, health, and wellness, that's what I stand for. That's what we're here for. So, if something can help the mission along, absolutely wonderful, great. So when Jeff St. James, and y'all know some of y'all know Jeff St. James, from the Ask a Brother podcast. Me and Jeff are super cool. I really appreciate him, and I love his intellect and his goals and his vision. So when I saw his comment on my initial reply to her reel, he said, I would love to host this discussion between two giants in the field. So that made me go and look and actually see who she was. And so I had heard of this book, Thick. And this is her, Tressie McMillan Cottom. So when I go to her page and see she's a New York Times columnist, she is a sociologist, she's an academic. She's got about 203,000 followers on Instagram. So she has influence. She is intelligent, right? I know people would say different kinds of intelligence. Let's not split hairs, okay? Right? I think so. She is intelligent. She has influence. I'm not going to split hairs there. Influence. She has a lot of experience. And I think that if someone like that has something to add, has a correction for me, has a better way to go about something, I absolutely want to hear it. So I'm thinking you are someone who I would like to talk to. You're saying that I can't do it. Well, if you can do it, come and help us. Come and help us. So I asked her to come. Let's see how this. Let's go to the initial comment. And y'all, maybe should have said this at the beginning. I got to get used to how I set things up. So bear with me as I figure out how to make this work, make this more cohesive, y'all. But the point being, where we're going to get to, y'all, is she posted a 10 to 11 minute, you could call it a rant. She posted a 10 to 11 minute story, long story, talking about the interactions that and talking about my work. Although she would not, she essentially refused to talk to me directly. So we're going to, and I screen recorded the story. We're going to watch it. I'm going to let you watch it completely, and then all the way through without me even interrupting. And then we're going to go back and break some things down. Okay. So maybe I should have said that at the beginning. I don't know, but that's what we're going to get to. That's why we're talking about this. And I want to assure you, y'all, my page could never turn into something that, we're just kind of like getting into back and forth with people. I mean, maybe you can tell that that's not me. So the point is not to come at her personally at all. But although she has come at me personally and professionally, I'm not gonna do. I have no interest in doing that. I don't have to do that. Um, I don't think it's the right way. I don't think it's valuable. I think it's regressive. And so what we're going to do is talk about some things that we can pull out of the story. And I am going to correct some things that she has said about me and the work. I'm going to make those corrections. So that's what we're getting at, y'all. I hope that that makes sense. And you can definitely, absolutely let me know, give me feedback about how I should set this up so that you kind of, if you're not understanding what's going on, help me, help you, help us. Okay. So let's go to the, again, just Tressie, Dr. Tressie McMillan Cottom wrote the book Thick, did about a 10 and a half minute story on Instagram. This was on like February 18th, 19th. I recorded it on the 19th. I think she put it up on probably the 18th. This all started when she saw this reel.
Men who like big women and men who lack financial stability. You're right, and there are studies that show this. I'll highlight this one.
Let's go.
There is a correlation, a link between men who like big women and men who lack financial stability. You're right, and there are studies that show this. I'll highlight this one, showing that when men are financially dissatisfied, they prefer heavier women. And when men are financially satisfied, they prefer thinner women. Study also shows that when men are hungry, they prefer heavier women. And when men are satiated, they prefer thinner women. Like literally when men are having a physiological and in-body response to a lack of resources like food, so they experience hunger because there's not enough food, they prefer heavier women in those scenarios. Okay, interestingly enough, these same differences didn't occur among women, which might explain part of the reason why many women have a hard time wrapping their mind around this issue, because their preferences don't fluctuate in the same way in these areas. I'm going to be highlighting a lot more of these research articles and data so that we can stop arguing with facts.
Yeah, I really don't think that's that bad. I don't think that's that bad. I'm gonna just take you through the story, y'all. I'm gonna take you through the story. I'm not even gonna comment yet. I'm gonna take you through. This is the comment from that reel. All right, she says you're not qualified for this conversation. You keep misrepresenting data. You keep because you've been here for a couple of weeks, y'all. I'm telling you, she's been here for a couple of weeks. You keep misrepresenting data to shame Black women. I suspect for likes. You should be ashamed. I said, I appreciate your opinion. Would you like to come on live with me and present the facts and correct statements you think are deceptive and misleading? All right. I'm not even going to tell you what you think about that. We're going to keep going on with the story. So that was my offer. You know what? I am going to say something. I'm going to be pointing this out quite a bit, I think, going on in the future. Okay. I think we're going on to the future. People will bait you. People will try to bait you. Undermining, insulting, passive aggressive, sometimes just outright insults. Okay, this had a combination of things. Okay. This is my tip for you. And I'm gonna be talking a lot more about this. I think this is so important, y'all. My YouTube member section is more for like, I think people who want to be coached and who want to learn, who are really learners and developers and not just commenters and conversationalists. There's nothing wrong if that's what all you want from me. Totally fine. The YouTube members, I want that to be more for like learners on purpose. Okay. I'm always going to be teaching throughout though. So there's always going to be some teaching moments that come out even when we're having conversation. And this is something I think I want to help coach people and teach people, coach people through and teach people as I'm doing these kinds of presentations. When you're baited like this, right, there's a couple different things that I could have bit. I just didn't do it. Okay. I pretty much absorbed it. Not meaning like internalized it, not meaning, oh, like I'm feeling. I pretty much just said, okay, this is what you got. Now I release. It's a catch and release. That's what I'm gonna call it, y'all. That's what I'm gonna call it. Catch and release. Okay. Couple things I could have bit. No thanks. No, thank you. No, thank you. I am going to though ask you if you want to have a live conversation with me because this doesn't, the other stuff, I'm not. These are is it's subjective. All of that is subjective. So anyone can have any kind of perception, opinion. I catch, release, and I open. Okay, that's going to help somebody right there. I hope. So I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to try to defend myself in the comments like that. So, and this is also this. I did not know who she was. I didn't even know who she was at this point. So that's what I did there. She did not reply to me, although you can literally go on to, I'm not going to go through every single comment. That would take a very long time. You can go on to my page and you can see them for yourselves if you want. From here, y'all, I posted a reel, basically, essentially, like kind of introducing who she was. I was like, oh, I realized who she is, and I invited her, and I said, I invite you. This is a direct invitation. I invite you to have a conversation with me because I think we would have an excellent discussion. Some people were framing it as a debate. I'm not even calling it a debate. I wouldn't see it as a debate. I think it's truly a discussion. Okay. I think a lot of people aren't used to that kind of like invitation or opening or like don't think that that's sincere. Like people really want to fight on the internet. That's totally not me. Anybody who knows me for real. If you can't pick up on that, then just trust this. Anybody who knows me for real absolutely knows I'm absolutely not about that. You know how many times I just said absolutely? That's how serious I am. Yeah, I'm not about to be fighting with people on the internet. Okay. So open invitation. I can appreciate the kind of work that she's done. I think that what Thick is about, y'all, I didn't even say that. What Thick is essentially about, and I have not read it, okay? But I did look it up. I know people who have read it. If we were to have a discussion, I had already committed to myself that I was going to read Thick before we even talk. Like that's how I'm totally willing to see what's going on. This essay, her essay is about I think it's 8 essays in there about Black womanhood, culture, beauty, racism, sexism, that kind of thing. She's a sociologist, right? She's talking about social and cultural sort of issues. I think that's great. So there's some things, some ways that she sees things though that are apparently different than the way that I might see them, or the kind of solutions that she would point to could be different than things that I would think would be, a solution. It's not about right, better or worse. I think, the conversation is to have a more holistic perspective about what's going on. I also think it's really important, especially as the platform gets bigger and I talk about more and more content that gets a little bit dicey. I think it is important to keep inviting people and to keep inviting us to have empathy and understanding for people who think differently. I think that's really important. I do not want to be someone who creates negativity and prejudice, discrimination, and things like that against people in the ways that people think. That's not me. That's not what I represent. I cannot control y'all. I don't. I think people often forget. I cannot control what happens in the comments. I cannot control how people do what people do with things. Okay. And well, only thing I can do is be who I am and model how I go about things in a way that I think is right. And if I do something that is off, then I hope that someone can hold me accountable to it, and I can reflect on these things and adjust. So that's what I want us all to be able to do. So y'all invite her to the open conversation. She says this. Wrong comment. Okay, wrong comment. We're gonna come to that. We're gonna come to these. It oh She says I'm unqualified on this reel.
There is a
Okay, this is where she said that's where she said I was unqualified. She says this comment on that same when I did my reply to her comment, I put in, before I knew who she was as well, put in the caption, that I'm not just going to fold because someone says it. And if someone has something, something real that they want to bring, something concrete, I'm absolutely willing to hear it, but I'm not going to fold. I say that because then she said this: you don't have to fold, but you have misinterpreted data 3 times now that you have shown up on my feed. In each instance, with the effect of condemning Black women, Black woken. That's funny. Let's not even do that. Let's not even do it. We don't even have to do that, y'all. We're not even going to take it there. We're not even going to take it there. In each instance, with the effect of condemning Black women. That's what she meant to say, y'all. I'm pretty sure she said that's a choice, right? I said, I would sincerely like to have a conversation with you to hear where I'm misinterpreting and condemning. In either case, I think it's important it's corrected so the information is accurate and helpful for Black people. Are you willing to meet? Okay. So again, I'm not going to catch, release, open. You see that? Catch, release, open. Not taking any of the bait, the subject, the things you haven't even, not even anything concrete here. And it's also just not a good idea to get into that in the comments anyway. I mean, especially so many comments going on, so much going on right now. Like it's not, I cannot have an ongoing conversation about this kind of thing, subjective opinions and perceptions about what I'm doing, and especially if you don't have anything concrete, like a direct data point to point to that I could easily say, oh yeah, you know what, that I did have an old data point. I can see that. Okay, right. Like, or someone else who said recently, I believe it was a man, Randy, who said like the divorce rate is 51%. I said, no, it's not. And we're going to talk about that. And I said, no, it's not. This is what it really is. The 50%, or he said 50, maybe 50%. I said the 50% is just a number that keeps being recirculated. No, it's not. This is what it is. He said, I stand corrected. That's it. Now that was something, it was very like, do, that's handled. Okay. But these kinds of open, vague things and subjective kind of comments, don't go back and forth. Catch, release. Okay. Some bait in there, not biting. I am open though. I'm open to having a conversation with you. This is what happened. There were several different threads and things that she had with other people. She was going back with other people. She has not responded directly about anything. These are the only two, this comment and the comment about me being unqualified. That's right above. You see that? The comment about me being unqualified. My reply to it is there. Okay, because I did a real reply. Okay, to the you're not qualified into this conversation. That's what's in the dark background back there. And then in that same, and then she said, you don't have to fold. Okay, to my real reply. I hope that makes sense. All right. Now, you know what? Let me honestly, because what I'm thinking, y'all, is maybe it would have been best. Remember, y'all, I'm new to creating these kinds of setups. So I don't have my flow down completely. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something. Hopefully, I can go ahead and get this on the live. I want to show you why she said you don't have to fold, just so that it's really, really clear for you. One sec. Okay, one second. Okay. Call that forward. Bear with me, y'all. One moment, please. There it is. Just so it's very, very clear. You see how this was the real reply. Like my first real reply to her saying that I was unqualified. This was my reply. This was when I replied to that with a real, and in the caption, right? Which essentially was a restating of what I was saying in the reply. Say anyone can meet me live and present an argument contrary to mine or alternative facts. If you want to publicly question publicly question my intentions, I welcome you. If I wanted to get likes, I'd probably take a much different route than this. Where has reading research about marriage and talking about social cultural issues in a sweatshirt actually worked for a woman? Number 3, shaming anybody isn't something I believe in. If you can show me where I'm shaming Black women or anybody, I'm open to hearing it so I can see it and adjust. But I'm not folding just because someone wants me to stop talking. Okay. And that is why she said, this. And I gave another opening where I addressed who she was. She was the author of the book, Thick. I hope that gives a clear idea of how we got of it so far. She started talking to other people, not talking to me. I got a message from a man named Ralph. Shout out to Ralph, who let me know that she had been on her stories talking about me because I had not looked at that. I had not looked at her stories. I talked to people directly. I wasn't even thinking about like, well, let me see what she's really about. Like I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't going on her page trying to see like, well, what's she really about? I was just like, you were on my page. You said this. Hey, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? So when he says that she was talking about me on her story, I go and look. Then I screen recorded it. So this is what we're going to move into now.
One of these posts was using the first one of these posts was using the data that I'm
sorry, yeah, bear with me.
Now, the first one of these posts was using the data that I'm somewhat familiar with about scarcity and resource scarcity and the body composition and weight, BMI, basically, of women and mate selection in the mate market. Again, I'm somewhat familiar. And her conclusion from that data was that men prefer thinner women and fat Black women got to stop complaining basically about not finding marriageable partners if they're going to be fat. Now, I might be oversimplifying her point, but not by much. And I think the young lady has the impression that I am critiquing her credentials or lack thereof. I'm not, because I ain't never been one of these people out here like, I'm a PhD and I work at da-da-da. That ain't never been my jam. I've told you, my genius comes from the culture and the community, not from an institution. Having said that, there is a phenomenon the last, 7-8 years, and I always get in trouble when I talk about credentials, by the way. God help me if the nurses wake back up again. But listen, there's a phenomenon of people earning postgraduate degrees and terminal degrees and professional licensure in things like therapy, mental health counseling, and then extrapolating from that credential. They use it. It's in their bios and how they introduce themselves. They say it in the introduction of every story. And then, they go a little far afield, we shall say. Now, there is a difference, whether you like it or not, between professional licensure and research degrees and applied research versus academic research and blah, 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 blah. All of that to say, being credentialed in one area does not necessarily credential you in others, especially when the underlying skill is research and interpreting it. And God help me, this is so ill-advised. But listen, it's a bad economy. Do what you got to do. I don't mess with influencers really too much, too tough. And if you are doing the credentialing, coaching, network, MLM thing, listen, do you. My daddy sold Amway for many years. I get it. Okay? Having said that, I do not like the conclusion that leads to condemning and individuating societal bias and stigma when it comes to blaming Black women for their marriage outcomes or their life outcomes, right? So this idea that if we would conform, if we would get healthy, if we get in shape, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's an old story. Made more popular on the internet because it drives a lot of affect, and of course affect is how these platforms make money, by capturing our attention, and people love hating Black women, and they damn near orgasm to hate fat Black women. Now look, it ain't slanging dope and it ain't picking cotton. If you want to hate black women on the internet because it makes you a little change, gets you a little attention, you wouldn't be the first, you probably won't be the last. It's just, I guess this thing caught me, one, because it was using empirical data, and that tends to dazzle people, and it was drawing conclusions from demographic data about individual motivations in a way that demographers would never do, and that's how I knew that weren't particularly up to the task of interpreting that data for a lay audience, by the way. But also, we're in this moment where so much of the aesthetic hegemony of this white neo-reactionary moment was built on the condemnation of so-called body positivity in the guise of critiquing, condemning, and demonizing black women. We are here in part because the right made y'all turn on fat black women as an emblem of the decline of Western civilization. So yeah, I need to leave her alone. She done went on there and got me tagged talking about she would invite me to a live, and I'm just mad because a hit dog gonna holler something to that effect. And I mean, baby, please. And again, I left her alone. But it just felt so nasty to still be doing the work of white reconstruction in this moment when it is not just ascendant but winning. To be using that to eke out a little bit of attention, a little bit of change on the backs of black women who, y'all, 500,000 of us have been pushed out the labor market, fat and skinny alike, by the way. And a man ain't gonna save you because black men been pushed out too. And it just doesn't seem like the right time to be entertaining this foolishness. You know? Okay, I'm gonna go try to catch a plane home. Kudos. Okay, I'm still waiting on my plane, so I'm just gonna say a little bit more. Yeah, I deleted the first story because it was TMI about my own personal context because I have had a Bailey's and coffee. Listen, here's the thing. Why don't we just leave fat black women alone? What if we did that? What if instead of trotting out a 2023 study on marriageability and BMI and income, you looked at all of the work on racial capitalism from everybody like Sandy Darity to Derek Hamilton that shows that marriage is not going to lift black people out of structural poverty. Even if you, as a couple, you do the whole coupledom thing and you get ahead, earning the money and having the power to keep the money are two different things. But seriously, this is why I got in trouble about this on Blue Sky or whatever it is recently. When I was like, listen, I don't know if Lizzo's a good or a bad person, although she seemed to have gone a little lately, but whatever. Life is hard for everybody right now, and I try not to judge. But I know this. I know a lot of us helped people like Chris Rufo and all of the right wing that we now know, agents of chaos, funded agents of chaos, turn that woman into an avatar for the coarsening or darkening of America that helped the Trump 2.0 administration solidify its almost full state capture, meaning they used black femme bodies to further their aesthetic oppression of black people. Why are we still doing this? Why are we still participating? What you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? What are you doing? Attacking black women in this political moment, in this political economy. Have you paid attention to what is happening in the world right now? You think that fat black women are your problem? Really? Have you noticed that the Bill of Rights is now functionally voided because the technological surveillance state is now larger and more networked, more powerful, better financed than the freaking government? Have you noticed that the 20th century institution has collapsed? And while, yeah, it might be nice to build something new, we ain't in the phase of building new. Have you noticed that black people are not just losing ground, they are being summarily punished for even trying to gain ground? And you want to talk about fat black women? That's what you want to do? And let me just pull a little Francesca on you and do a little media analysis of what you're even trying to do. Girl, the ship has sailed on making a whole bunch of money in the attention economy, punishing black women. You can't level up to that level. They already won, but you had to make the money 5-6 years ago. They don't need you anymore to be the good pick-me out of the crew and tell black women if they don't lose weight, then they deserve what happens to them, and they're going to be poor if they don't get married. And so losing weight is in their economic as well as their personal and spiritual best interest. What are you doing? You ain't going to make no money like that. That ain't even good at social media strategy. You know, if they want that message, there is now a fully financed, powerful podcast bro network that can do that. You ain't going to make no money doing this, mama. Do something else. Anyway, it's well documented that I hate couple content and marriage content and wedding content and relationship content. God, I hate the relationship content. And it was just fine for me to just dislike it when, again, you know, there were other avenues and people were just doing what they were doing. But I don't know, y'all. Things are real urgent right now. We ain't got time for a whole lot of foolishness. And so, you know, using your master's in counseling therapy to tell black women they need to lose weight, and you misrepresenting a demographic study to make it sound smart, you know, math washing your social media strategy for attention. I mean, I don't know. Maybe go learn how to shoot a gun and grow a garden instead. I mean, we're going to need something better than this. Relationship content ain't going to save us. Anyway, yes, it was beneath me. Yes, I should have left that girl alone. Blah, 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 blah. But I am tired. And the revolution is taking a long time to pop off. And my flight is late and delayed. And I haven't slept in a day and a half. And times are just too serious for foolishness. It's not fun anymore. It's not cute anymore. And above all, for the love of Black Jesus, JFK, and Martin Luther King, leave fat black women alone. Get another pinata. It's tired, and we got one foot in the grave.
I just scroll through the rest of her stories to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's let it just...
Oh, Amy, rich people used to rich right. No, they fucking didn't. They murdered people too.
Okay. What sponsored all those story posts? Big Margarita. Thank you, Dr. Tressie. Thank you, Dr. Tressie. Let's just take a moment to let it all sink in. We're going to go back through. I wanted you to see it in its entirety because I don't have an interest in misrepresenting anybody. So just as long as you just look at it all, you heard what you heard. You might have had some thoughts, you might have had some feelings, you might have had some things, but I want you to see it all. That was about 10 and a half minutes we sat through that. Now we're going to go back and we're going to break it up. Okay. All right. I've watched it about it's probably my third time. Probably my third time. I had to watch it, I had to record it. I watched it first time and I was like, well, I didn't record this. You know, when they want the story to start getting deleted when she maybe saw me because she checking for me a little bit. So this is probably my fourth time watching it. And that one, by far, that one was the funniest time. I think because I'm excited to talk about this with you, y'all. So let's go ahead and get it back up. Let's get it back up. Let's get it back up. Let's break it down a little bit. And I want you to tell me seriously about the format. Is it, because I kind of like seeing myself like bigger, to be honest, and seeing this kind of over there in the right third. But if you really think that it's better for it to actually look like this or like this, and you would prefer to
the first one
to see the full video when it's really big like that, I want you to please let me know, okay? Because I'm paying attention, I'm listening. For now, I'm gonna keep it like this until I hear otherwise that you prefer it a little bit different. All right. Let's go. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit on my end because I don't want to watch it again at full volume.
Now, the first one of these posts was using the data that I'm somewhat.
Wait, that word began.
Now, the first one of these posts was using.
That's not really the beginning.
Now, the first one of these posts was using the data that I'm somewhat familiar with about scarcity and resource scarcity and the body composition and weight, BMI basically, of women and mate selection in the mate market. Again, I'm somewhat familiar.
And this is what I wish you would just have come on and told us what she, because she's saying she's somewhat familiar, with the eyes, and she's saying she's very familiar, right? Totally fine. I would love to have heard about the research she's done and what she is so familiar with or expert on or authority on. I wish she would have come and shed light.
And her conclusion.
And okay, let's listen. So we're gonna replay the whole. We're gonna replay my clip too.
From that data was that men prefer thinner women, and fat Black women got to stop complaining basically about not finding marriageable partners if they're going to be fat. Now, I might be oversimplifying her point, but not by much.
No, yeah, I mean, totally. So let's actually see what I really did say. She said I presented that men prefer thinner women. I was talking about mate selection. It's true. I did not say Black fat women need to stop complaining about not finding a partner. That's not what I said. But I will say what she's I'll be overly fair because that's the reel she commented on. So that's what she's referring to. She's misrepresenting me in that. That's not what I said. I will, to be overly, that's not even being fair. I'll be gracious and play the reel where I do talk about Black women being overweight and it being connected to their difficulty finding relationships. I will be gracious in ways that you are not gracious to me, Dr. Tressie. So let's hear what she said again, real quick. I won't stop it. Then I want to play the reel that she referred to, where I got the comment that I was unqualified, and then I will play the Black women overweight and single reel.
Now, the first one of these posts was using the data that I'm somewhat familiar with about scarcity and resource scarcity and the body composition and weight, BMI basically, of women and mate selection in the mate market. Again, I'm somewhat familiar. And her conclusion from that data was that men prefer thinner women, and fat Black women got to stop complaining basically about not.
Okay, I messed something up, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all, I messed something up. And now I have to get all of my files back on. Whew, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Fortunately, I created a folder that has everything in it. So it will be easy for me to quickly get all this back on. Dang, that was crazy. That was crazy. Fortunately, the recording did not stop, so that's really good. And hopefully everything continues to go the way it needs to. All right. What happened was I have this trackpad. I was trying to scroll to the left on my page, and when I did the scroll to the left thing, it pressed the back. It made it go back, like press the back, as if I was pressing the back button on the browser. So it took me out. Okay. So I think I was at.
First one of these posts was using the data that I'm somewhat familiar with about scarcity and resource scarcity and the body composition and weight, BMI basically, of women and mate selection in the mate market. Again, I'm somewhat familiar. And her conclusion from that data was that men prefer thinner women, and fat Black women got to stop complaining basically about not finding marriageable partners if they're going to be fat. Now, I might be oversimplifying her point, but not by much. And I think the young lady has the.
Okay. So this is what I did say.
There is a correlation, a link between men who like big women and men who lack financial stability. You're right, and there are studies that show this. I'll highlight this one, showing that when men are financially dissatisfied, they prefer heavier women. And when men are financially satisfied, they prefer thinner women. Study also shows that when men are hungry, they prefer heavier women. And when men are satiated, they prefer thinner women. Like literally when men are having a physiological and in-body response to a lack of resources like food, so they experience hunger because there's not enough food, they prefer heavier women in those scenarios. Okay, interestingly enough, these same differences didn't occur among women, which might explain part of the reason why many women have a hard time wrapping their mind around this issue, because their preferences don't fluctuate in the same way in these areas. I'm going to be highlighting a lot more of these research articles and data so that we can stop arguing with facts.
So I didn't say anything about fat Black women needing to shut up. That's just plain as day. That's the reel she commented on. She made it sound like in that post, I said that Black men who are resource scarce prefer men who, it was not about Black men. It was about men who are resource scarce prefer women who are bigger. They prefer thinner women when they are financially satisfied, is the way that the report put it. I linked the report so anybody could go read it themselves. I screenshot it, put it on the reel so anybody could go look it up themselves, even if they didn't read the caption, to see what the article was, the research article was. I said nothing about fat Black women needing to shut up. I have never said fat Black women need to shut up. I have never said that. So, if I want to be overly fair, she did not say that I said it literally. She said she said maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but not by much. And absolutely she is. Not just, I think it's not even oversimplifying it. I would say a more accurate thing for her to have said was maybe I'm misrepresenting it, because that's what you are. You are misrepresenting it. You are misrepresenting me. And to be overly fair, and I think past fair, to be gracious, I'm going to play the reel that she probably commented on this too, because she's been on my page for weeks saying stuff. And this is what women are the most single, and we have the biggest women. How do I know we're the most single? Real quick, y'all, here are the marriage numbers. Among all US adults, 49% of women are currently married, compared to 53% of men. 27% of Black women are married, 49% never married. 34% of Black men married, 50% never married. 31% of Black people married, 50% never married. I'm reading all that for the record. I want you to focus on this one stat today. 27% of Black women are married, 49% never married. Okay, just focus on that stat. You compare that to all in the United States, like 48% of all of all people in the United States are married, and Black women are 27%. That's a huge difference. And we're going to focus on body and the way that impacts this number today, although we could talk about other things. Most men want a woman, and the way, because I'm listening to myself are married, and I'm listening to myself like, that sounds clear as day. It sounds like, okay, yeah, we're the biggest. I put those numbers out. It will continue to be, because that's the reality. I said it's a big jump. 27% compared to 48%. That's a large jump. Yep. Black women are 27%. That's a huge difference. And we're going to focus on body and the way that impacts this number today, although we could talk about other things. Most men want a woman they are attracted to, who could carry and care for their children if they choose to have children. They want quality of life and know that being with a woman who is not physically fit will greatly impact that. Your health is wealth. So being unhealthy, too fat, too big, okay, effectively makes you broke in that regard. I'm making the simple argument that if Black women were more physically fit, their chances at marriage would increase. It wouldn't solve the whole problem. Again, the attitude and mindset need to match up. Too many Black women, 8 out of 10, are at least over a normal weight, or are at least overweight and can even get into obesity. If you want to account for some of you with a whole bunch of muscle, okay, let's take that down to 6 or 7 out of 10. Okay. I will give that to you for the sake of the argument. It's still too much. That means that more than half of you, let's say 60 to 70% of you, are actually just too fat, are actually just like truly, genuinely overweight and obese because of fat on your body. Are y'all following me? Too big to fit, generally fit what a man, especially a high quality man, are we talking about someone with good character? We're talking about someone who, yes, is financially able to support you and the family. Yeah, I mean, men who want to get away from providership in a traditional sense, you're not the man for this group. Okay, just like women who don't want to care about their body, you're not the woman for this group. Come on. Okay, other groups, fine. What's the issue? And y'all, I'm allowing myself to be more animated because with myself. I mean, you know, I don't want to do all the extraness with other people. Like, I don't, care to do like make people feel away with all the extraness, but on my own content, which I've been actually wanting to react to my own content. This is the first time I put myself up next to myself, and I like it. Can I be honest with you? I'm liking it. First of all, I like seeing us both on screen. I think that's kind of nice. and I'm hearing myself like, what's the issue? And at the same time, if you got an issue, pull up. Let's talk. No problem. No problem at all. But I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm presenting anyway, I'm not even gonna go too much into mine. But it's like, come on, what's the problem? For real. So anyway, I'm saying that because she said, that I said fat Black women, that I said something about their marriageability. It wasn't in the reel that she was referring to, but I do make the intersection unashamedly and unapologetically that Black women, any woman who was less overweight, less fat, would likely have better chances at a higher quality relationship. If someone wants to argue with me, I am 100% down. I am 100%. I'm eager for someone to argue with me about that. I'm eager with someone to come against that with any. I'm willing to listen to stories, facts, data. I'm willing to listen to your imaginations. If that's what you want to present. I'm eager to hear how saying that women who are less overweight, and Black women in particular who are the most overweight, if they were to get less overweight, if they were to be more fit, that they would have a better chance at relationship, better chance at marriage. If anybody wants to come against that, please, the door is wide open. And women, let me talk to you real quick. So quick. We need to hear more of y'all in the comments. I know y'all are listening. I know y'all are there. And we need to see more of y'all in the comments saying that makes sense. That makes sense. And there's more of you that are doing it. Thank you. But it's it really is good. And I know that it's that sometimes someone doesn't want to comment because they're afraid of men coming at them. And men, I've seen that, y'all. I'm not going to make this about that. I'm going to make a whole different video about this. But man, I've seen when women will say like, that makes a lot of sense. And you'll have a man come under her being like, well, y'all don't want to listen. So F y'all. It's like, y'all, it's just so extra. And we need men checking those men. That's what I'm proposing, y'all. I know I cannot change online culture, but I am suggesting that, y'all. When women speak up, I'm suggesting women speak up more that are watching and are in agreement, and you speak up in the comments. And I'm suggesting that men would encourage them and acknowledge them positively in the comments and not come against the women who are for the cause. Like, that's weird. That's super weird. Let's continue. Let's stay on track, y'all. So much to say.
That I am critiquing her credentials or lack thereof. I'm not, because I ain't never been one of these people out here like, I'm a PhD and I work at credentials or lack thereof. Now I might be oversimplifying her point, but not by much. And I think the young lady has the impression that I am critiquing her credentials or lack thereof.
I didn't see when she tried to bait me with that. Y'all remember when she tried to bait me with the unqualified comment, I didn't even say yes I am and how you gonna question. No, I didn't say that to her one time. I just had her one time. So no, I'm not. So she's just using that to make her own point about her credentials. Be clear. Be clear. She's using that to make a point about her. She said, I think she's under the impression I'm questioning her credentials. I never said that. And that's not what that's not the, you question them if you want to. If you want, I don't have an issue. She's saying that because she would have an issue with somebody questioning her credentials and her authority. She's saying that because so she can make a point of what she's about to make about the difference between LMFT and counseling degrees and research PhDs. She's saying that because she wants to make this point. Catch, release, open. So that's in this, we all coach moment, teach moment. This is you don't even give you no ammo. So now we know you're just making it up. You just literally are fantasizing that, imagining that. Because that's not what I said. And if you wanted to question my credentials, come on and do it. It's like, just say it to my face. Like, just say it to me. Fine. Come on here and tell us why a therapist should not be talking about relationship dynamic research. Tell us why you shouldn't talk about. Tell me why someone who's in the fitness industry for 10 years, personal training, group training, health coach, fitness nutrition specialist, shouldn't be talking about the impact of being overweight. Tell me how an LMFT and a fitness professional shouldn't be intersecting shouldn't be intersecting all of the information, all the experience, all the education, all the data. Come on here and say it.
Because I ain't never been one of these people out here like credentials or lack thereof. I'm not, because I ain't never been one of these people out here like I'm a PhD and I work at da-da-da. It ain't never been my jam. I've told you, my genius comes from the culture and the community, not from an institution.
Okay, so this is an area where, and there were some people in the comments that have commented on this, her particular type of study, and I'm not going to get too much into the academic conversation right now, but this is a way where someone can kind of get away from any kind of validation, and I mean by research standards, like by validating what they say, verifying what they say. Because if someone says, well, my genius comes from just basically literally anecdotal evidence and my own personal subjective interpretation of reality, then you cannot come against what they think you can't come against what they say. It's a setup for a shield. Okay, where it's like, this is what I see in the culture. These are the stories I collected, rather than like what's the actual facts and numbers and data that you could go back and verify and validate and replicate through research methodology. So you want to talk about research?
Having said that, there is a phenomenon.
Go back and make sure you're right.
These people out here like I'm a PhD and I work at da-da-da. It ain't never been my jam. I've told you, my genius comes from the culture and the community, not from an institution.
So stories and subjective experiences and personal experiences that you've collected. That's basically what that means. There's qualitative studies and there's quantitative studies. Okay, qualitative is like more like it's literally collecting people's like verbal like story. Quantitative is like you're reading numbers. You say, hey, from a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry are you? Like, think about the study that I presented in the first reel. How hungry are you? Okay, from a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you prefer this woman? And they show a picture of a bigger woman versus, and then you say this number. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you prefer this woman? And you show the opposite body, like if you showed a thin woman the first time, you show a bigger woman the next time. How much do you prefer that woman? Okay, let's take this and let's get 600 people. Let's make everybody do that. Tell us how hungry you are. Tell us the weight of this woman and the weight of that woman. Tell us on a scale of 1 to 10 how much you prefer this one, how much you prefer that one. Now we're going to bring it all together, and we've done a quantitative study. We didn't ask you to tell us your story or anything like that. We're just saying like, okay, we can tell they prefer when they're this hungry, they prefer a woman like this, and when they're this satiated, they prefer a woman like that. Quantitative.
Having said that, there is a phenomenon. The last, 7-8 years, and I always get in trouble when I talk about credentials, by the way. God help me if the nurses wake back up again. But listen, there's a phenomenon of people earning postgraduate degrees and terminal degrees and professional licensure in things like therapy, mental health counseling, and then extrapolating from that credential. They use it. It's in their bios and how they introduce themselves. They say it in the introduction of every story. And then, they go a little far afield, we shall say. Now, there is a difference, whether you like it or not, between professional licensure and research degrees and applied research versus academic research and blah, 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 blah. All of that to say, being credentialed in one area does not necessarily credential you in others.
Yeah. I'm an LMFT, not a PhD. Like one credential does not credential you in another. Okay. Okay.
Especially when the underlying skill is research and interpreting it.
I mean, in my degree program, just to give you a little bit of insight, like in my degree program, we literally do take like research methodology. We do research. So it's not a research degree. It's not a PhD. And obviously you can't say that like people who, just because you don't have a PhD in research doesn't mean that you cannot look at research and understand what's going on. But no, I have no issue with saying that, like, no, I don't have a research degree. And if you do, would you come and help us to understand the research a little bit better? Please.
God help me, this is so ill-advised. But listen, it's a bad economy. Do what you got to do. I don't mess with influencers really too much, too tough. And if you are doing the credentialing, coaching, network, MLM thing, listen, do you. My daddy sold Amway.
I mean, just super shade. You 50 years old doing that to somebody could be your granddaughter. It's kind of weird to go about that like that. Now I'm gonna tell you, that's totally my opinion. I don't have a research article to back that up. I don't have a research degree, so I shouldn't be presenting research anyway, apparently. I don't have a research article. That's just like kind of my intuitive sense. That's kind of like my kind of almost like a moral compass, like starts to kind of be like, why are you doing that? That don't even look right. It don't even sound right. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again.
Interpreting it.
God, it's not a good look.
Help me, this is so ill-advised. But listen, it's a bad economy. Do what you got to do.
So she's like, it's a bad conversation. She's saying, okay, you trying to get some money. Do what you got to do. That's just so shady. It's so shady. I can't believe you're even comfortable doing that, Dr. Tressie. I can't believe you're even comfortable doing that. See, that's funny. Because some people are comfortable just so casually shading you, casually undermining, casually passive aggressive, casually even aggressive, casually. Like it says a lot. It would just kind of spill out you like that.
I don't mess with influencers really too much.
That's when she's an influencer, she's using it as an undermining. I don't consider myself an influencer. If you go back in my content so long ago, I used to always say, y'all, I am not a content creator. I'm not a content creator. I'm a therapist. I used to always say that, and I'll try to get away from it. And now I'm just aware of like, now I think people would consider me an influencer. People do consider me a content creator. And so I am much more accepting of that. And I'm not taking that as a dig. She's, I think, saying it like a dig, but I don't take it as a dig. I used to want to separate from that and be like, no, like this is my credential. I put so much value on that. But my mind has changed around that.
Too tough. And if you are doing
she said MLM, trying to say MLM. She's talking about it's a scheme.
Credentialing, coaching, network, MLM thing. Listen, do you. My daddy sold Amway for many years. I get it. Okay.
And then was that you throwing your father? Why did you bring your dad into that like that? Like, what you trying to? That's just. But I don't like that. I just didn't like that. I don't like that. Not because I care about the way that you just put it for me, but that's just a weird. Or like, I should say, let me finish. Let me say that sentence better. No, I don't care that you're saying that. I don't care that she's saying that, right? About me, because I'm not taking that seriously. I'm not taking that to heart. But that setup is very cringe to me. That setup was very cringe. And then to say, oh, my father saw Amway, so you trying to make it's like, what you saying? Like you try to make it like, oh, I get it, it's cool. Like that just sounds shady all around. Like that people be playing in your face. People be saying stuff like, people really are like that in real life, right? And they be playing in your face like that. They be playing in your face like that. That's why you guys saying it to my face.
Having said that, I do not like the conclusion that leads to condemning and individuating societal bias and stigma.
Condemning. Now, if you could go back, I'm not even going to play the 2.5 minute reel about the Black women being most single and most overweight, which are just facts. That's not, I do not consider that condemning. If anybody wants to make that argument, you can come on live synchronously with me and help me to see how that is condemning. When it's just like stating a fact and then giving it as a suggestion that, hey, maybe because of these facts, this is happening, and maybe if you change these facts, you would have a different outcome, a different thing would happen. I don't consider that condemning. I do acknowledge that there is social bias towards thinner, fitter people, and there is stigma around being fat. I do acknowledge that.
I do not like the conclusion that leads to condemning and individuating societal bias and stigma when it comes to blaming Black women for their marriage outcomes.
Blaming Black women, no. See, there's blame and then there's responsibility. I'm not to take responsibility for your outcomes. Suggesting you take responsibility and accountability and do something to affect your outcomes is not blaming. It's saying be responsible. Oftentimes people like to put the two together. And here's how to make that distinct difference, okay, between blaming and responsibility. Because think about it like this: a woman can be absolutely fit and absolutely kind and have good character and still not be married. Okay, blaming that woman for her outcome. Let's say we could just prove that she was just perfect. Okay. Let's show you how someone we could prove it just for the sake of making this point. Okay. Because you can't prove it. And that's part of the reason why this stuff gets so gray. Let's say for the sake of this point, you're like, this person really truly checks all the boxes and it's not a front, it's not a representative. This is really her. And she never gets married. To blame that woman would be inappropriate. Okay. To say like, hey, take responsibility for whatever you can do to affect the outcomes that you want. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that, to say like, hey, take responsibility. Hey, if you are still single and you want to be married and you are 45 years old, we should look and see what's been going on. How have you been moving? How have you been thinking? What's going on in the past? What's going on with childhood? What's going on with your ex? Let's see what's going on. How are you showing up? Those are things that someone would check to let's see where you can take more responsibility to affect your outcomes, or how have you affected your outcomes to where you've been with people and it hasn't worked out. There is one you can see in the past that it should have gone through, and there was something that was going on and you didn't, and you exited, you sabotaged, you did whatever. We should see and be able to take responsibility for how we've shown up in the past and how that can affect the outcomes that we have had. Okay. So people try to say you're blaming and shaming, and that's why you need to know the distinct differences for yourself so you don't get gaslit. Know the difference between blame, shame, responsibility, and accountability. Know these differences, because people will try to use these words to shame you. Okay? People try to use these words to condemn you. There's oftentimes someone's doing something, and I know it sounds tricky, y'all, but sometimes someone is doing the very thing that they are accusing you of. And if you do not know yourself, and if you cannot and you cannot resist that and know for yourself, or in real conversation, be able to stand your ground and say like, no, this is blaming is this, and responsibility is that, and shaming is this, but accountability is that. If you cannot articulate, your actual position, you can get swept away by someone who is accusing you of something that you're really not doing. Okay. So I'm not saying that every time someone is wrong every time. I do think that she's wrong here.
Their life outcomes, right? Black women for their marriage outcomes or their life outcomes, right? So this idea that if we would conform, if we would get healthy, if we get in shape, blah, 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 this is an old story.
And then people like this will start using the word conform, because that's a very it's very polarizing. It can even be like a kind of a radical word. It can be a political word. So conform is a charged word. I think that's my opinion on the word conform, and I think it kind of perks some people's ears up, especially who are inclined to a particular ideology. So I think that's true. So but that's my opinion. I think that's true, and if someone else wants to say something different, fine. But I'm going to play that again. I'm going to tell you why I'm pointing out that.
And stigma when it comes to blaming Black women for their marriage outcomes or their life outcomes, right? So this idea that if we would conform, if we would get healthy, if we get in shape, blah, blah, blah.
If we could conform, if we could get healthy, if we get in shape, blah, blah, blah. First of all, the blah, blah, blah is totally dismissive, okay? And that tells you a lot about what she thinks about the message, okay? Of course. We already get that. But, that blah, 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 when people do that, it's just dismissive, like, oh, that nothing to see here, nothing to see there, nothing to hear, nothing to that. Okay, rude. It's rude, especially when somebody does that to your face. Rude. But she's using the word conform, but it's like get healthy, get in shape. Yes, if you want to take that as conforming, okay. I mean, you could. I don't think that is the most helpful perspective. I think that's a part of self-development. I think that's a part of like being a healthy person is like getting healthy, staying healthy, maintaining your health, taking care of your health. All right, being in shape. I don't think, to look at that as like conforming to society's standards. You could look at it like that, but I don't think society's standards are always like bad and harmful and like evil and crazy. Sometimes it's like the standard should be healthy and fit. Why not? Why not? That's not about like, oh, you need to have a certain kind of body, because absolutely, for sure. And maybe somebody needs to hear me say this. Like, there are healthy comes in different body types, but I'm not going to act like super big people that are not working out are just as okay as everybody else. Like, how does that not at this point harmful? Like, that's not just like, it's just like negligent and like harmful to just act like, oh, well, everybody's why should we want to be fit like this person? Why can't we all just be blobby like that one? Because because not just about, but because a man's gonna like you if you're a woman, or a woman's gonna like you if you're a man, although that is true, because of your own personal health. And again, though, different health comes in different body types. Health comes in different body types. Okay.
This is an old story, made more popular on the internet because it drives a lot of affect.
Made it more popular on the internet. This has been around since the dawn of time. That you shouldn't have a whole bunch of fat on your body. That's not a story made up by the internet. See, people will just start spinning narratives. It's just not true. Just not true. When did doctors didn't start telling you to lose weight? They didn't just start doing that in 2007, 2020, 1993 when we started internet. They didn't just the internet didn't start health standards.
Outcomes, right? So this idea that if we would conform, if we would get healthy, if we get in shape, blah, blah, blah. This is an old story, made more popular on the internet because it drives a lot of affect, and of course, affect is how these platforms make money, by capturing our attention, and people love hating Black.
Okay, I want to show you this real quick. Yeah, people, I'm so tired. Y'all talking about I'm making a bunch of money on the internet. Let's look at this. I said, how much money? Because I'm just like, I know this. Clearly, I know this, but a lot of people don't know it. They think that just because you have a little audience, just because you have people liking your stuff, that is a lot more likes than you get, because you're just a person. You're a personal account that only deals with your friends that you actually know. And I have a public account, and I'm putting out content to the internet, the world. It's like, oh, you must be getting paid. You got 2,000 likes. You got 12,000 views. Look at this. How much money does a 10,000 view reel make on Instagram? Just to give you a snapshot, a 10,000 view Instagram reel typically makes between $1 and $20. I'm telling you, it's not 20. Like, look at, let me see. Many creators earning closer to 10 cents to $4 per 1,000 views. So it's not even all like every view is not even this exact same amount of money. But look how, do you know how low that is? You know how much it would take? Let me tell you how much then it would take. Let me give a little calculator out. Let's say I got 40 cents. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I'm not even going to I'm not entertaining this. I'm not about to do this. Y'all see it. I promise you, I'm not making. You should see my views. I hardly get likes. You see my views on YouTube? I hardly get views. I'm not doing this for views. If I was doing this for views, I'd be doing things a lot differently. I could be doing a bunch of other stuff. I could be doing TikTok dances. I could be taking my shirt off. I could be in the gym doing a bunch of stuff. Trust. And I don't, because that's not the point. I could be pandering to men or women because I know what they want to hear. I know how to ignore a whole side of an argument if that's what I want to do. I know how to do all of that if that's what I want to do, because it's just too easy. It's so simple. My brain is honestly, y'all, my brain is too fast for that. I can't even, it's so, that stuff is so slow. When I see people doing that, I see what they're doing. It's so slow that you got to have a slow brain. It's so simple. I'm not interested in that. That should be so obvious. So I feel like when people make this argument, it's like, it feels just like disingenuous. It's just such a simple argument. Oh, you got or you're monetized on Instagram, so you're doing something for views. Oh, you're grifting. I mean, come on. But this is how, if someone wants to believe that about me, they're just going to believe it. But so whatever. But this is really this is for real. Like, this is what it actually, it's not a lot of stuff. It's not a lot of money. It takes a lot for people to get, like, let me see. I think I looked at how much, let me look up something real quick. How much money does a YouTube video make with 1 million views? A 1 million view YouTube generates between $1,000 and $5,000. Between $1,000 and $5,000. A million views. I have like 200 views on my Instagram. So let's say I will do this 1,000. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry. If my YouTube videos have 200 views and it takes 1 million views to get $1,000, you do the math. I'm not going to do it for you. You do it. Because if you want to believe whatever you want to believe about me making a bunch of money on social media, then do it. But if you really want to look, go ahead and look. Go ahead and check. Stuff is silly, man.
And they damn near orgasm to hate fat Black women.
Such a weird thing to say.
This is an old story, made more popular on the internet because it drives a lot of affect, and of course, affect is how these platforms make money by capturing our attention, and people love hating Black women, and they damn near orgasm to hate fat Black women.
She said that. You see her face. I'm like, well, you know what? That's real personal. That's real personal. It's real personal. And I feel for those who really, feel that way. And there are really people who do really dislike Black women. There really are people who really seriously do. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. I'm not going to get into that conversation. I mean, there's so much to say. There's so much to say. We were getting way too off track, although it will be addressed. But to say that, to insinuate here that I hate Black women is just absolutely ridiculous. Not a whole lot of things I'm going to say about like say in that way towards Dr. Tressie like that, but that is absolutely, if she was right here, I would say that's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. I love Black women. I work with Black women. I talk to Black women. I am a Black woman. I love, it's like, come on. How could I possibly help Black women become engaged, help Black women get married, help Black women in their personal lives if I hate you? How could I possibly do that? And for when people like this put that kind of narrative out there, and they perpetuate this idea that people holding you accountable, holding you to a higher standard hate you. It's incredibly harmful and problematic. And you see, I haven't been coming at Dr. Tressie like even like this about what she's saying, but I think that is incredibly problematic, irresponsible, disingenuous. Look at it right here. Screenshot, because I got to get a thumbnail, y'all. I gotta get a thumbnail. We happen to be here, and I happen to be thinking about it. Happen to be thinking about it right now. So let's go ahead and get it. I didn't do this. You did. You did it. Dr. Tressie, you did it. You did that.
Black women. Now look, it ain't slanging dope and it ain't picking cotton. If you want to hate black women on the internet because it makes you a little change, gets you a little attention, you wouldn't be the first, you probably won't be the last. It's just, I guess this thing caught me, one, because it was using empirical data, and that tends to dazzle people, and it was drawing conclusions from demographic data about individual motivations in a way that demographers would never do, and that's how I knew that you weren't particularly up to the task of interpreting that data.
Which, first of all, totally am. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I gave a little interpretation with the reel, like, hey, I didn't even give it an interpretation really on that reel. I said, this is just what it states. The interpretation I did give on that men prefer bigger women when they are hungrier and have fewer resources. The only interpretation I actually gave on that reel was that part of the reason why women might have a hard time wrapping their mind around it is because women did not have the same fluctuations in who they preferred. And so we literally aren't thinking the same about it, or at least aren't reporting the same about it. When we're hungrier or more financially satisfied, not reporting fluctuations in whether you like a bigger or a smaller man. In the Black women are the most single and most obese, the interpretation that I did give in that reel is that based on the amount of women who are overweight and the number of women who are not married, that my interpretation is that, and when I include men's preferences in general, like preferring women who are more fit than fat, when I put all that together, my interpretation is if you were less fat and more fit, you would be in more relationships, be in better relationships. That's my interpretation. So that I'm up for interpreting some stuff. And if you or anybody, Dr. Tressie, want to come on and interpret some data and help us to read it better, absolutely no problem. I want to give you a definition of demographer real quick. For those of you who don't know, a demographer is an expert in the study of statistics relating to the changing structure of human populations. I'm not an expert in statistics. So if anybody is a demographer and wants to come on, please. What, are only experts in statistics allowed to read statistics? Is that it? So we can only rely on, so it's public information, we can only rely on people who, or who refuse to talk?
For a late audience, by the way. But also, we're in this moment where so much of the aesthetic hegemony of this white neo-reactionary moment was built.
The academics be getting you with the vocab, boy. And then she's talking about, I'm not interpreting for a layperson. What does that I gotta look that word up. Do y'all know what it means? See, the academics,
there's so much
they be getting you
conclusions from
I'm trying to sound smart.
Graphic data about individual motivations in a way
I must not be that smart.
That demographers would never do, and that's how I knew that you weren't particularly up to the task of interpreting that data for a late audience, by the way. But also, we're in this moment where so much of the aesthetic
hegemony. This is important, maybe. Okay. All right. Hegemony. It didn't come up. Oh, hegemonity. It didn't come up. Maybe it's not spelled, because when you do captions, sometimes it doesn't spell something right. Define congemony. What? Define congemity. Oh, I'm thinking it's like C-O-N, congemnity. Let's see, congemnity. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm trying. I thought it was. Honestly, I can't find what she's saying. I can't find it. It's not coming up. Congemini. I'm thinking it's C-O-N. Let me see it again real quick. Sorry, y'all.
That's how I knew that weren't particularly up to the task of interpreting that data for a lay audience, by the way. But also, we're in this moment where so much of the aesthetic hegemony,
maybe hegemony. Aesthetic hegemony. That's it, I think. Yep. I have heard that word, the cudge, in the way that the captions put it, had me thrown off. Let me show you. That's what it actually is. It might be flipped on your side. Anyway, y'all, this is taking up too much time. I'm sorry. Hegemony, Hegemony. Hegemony, aesthetic hegemony. Okay, because I was like hegemony, hetero, normal, homo. I'm thinking, okay. Aesthetic hegemony refers to the dominance of specific visual design or beauty standards that are promoted by a powerful group, culture, or industry as the norm. Okay, I think that's a relevant word, aesthetic hegemony, the dominance of a specific like beauty standard that's promoted by a powerful group, culture, or industry as the norm. Good word, y'all. Good term to know.
Of this white neo-reactionary moment was built on the condemnation of so-called body positivity in the guise of critiquing, condemning, and demonizing Black women. We are here in part because the right
neo-reactionary, y'all, mean the neo-reactionary movement is also known as dark enlightenment. It is an anti-democratic, anti-egalitarian, and reactionary philosophical and political movement that emerged in the late 2000s. It advocates for a return to traditional hierarchical societal structures, such as absolute monarchism or authoritarian corporate governance, and argues that liberal democracy is inherently inefficient, unstable, and in a state of terminal decline. Okay, so I was like, okay, like up to the absolute monarchism part. I was like, okay, huh. But then when it started talking about, absolute monarchism, I said, hold on, hold on. Liberal democracy is inherently inefficient, unstable, and in a state of terminal decline. Okay, I can see how this. I didn't know those words. See, if she would have come on the live, she could have been helping us. But that's interesting, y'all. I have not heard that. So thank you.
So-called body positivity in the guise of critiquing, condemning, and demonizing Black women. We are here in part because the right made y'all turn on fat Black women.
It's not true. The right didn't do it. And I'm not against fat Black women. I want people to be healthier. Black, white, Asian, all kinds of stuff. The Asians seem to be doing all right. Okay. But no, the right, they make it so political. The right didn't do this. Okay. I think probably as a person who's been in sports and athletic and been fit and likes health and have family that's into that and who became a personal trainer and who have friends who are healthy and all that kind of stuff and athletes and all that stuff, that probably made me a little bit aware of like, hey, healthy, not healthy, probably made me a little bit aware. The right didn't do it. The right didn't turn me against. Now I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, the right did not turn me against fat Black women. It's not what happened.
Moment was built on the condemnation of so-called body positivity.
Condemning body positivity. I don't think. See, I think I do have body positivity. I think I do have body positivity, meaning like different bodies. I believe should be accepted. Unhealthiness should be corrected. That's what I think. Is that not body positive? Can I be body positive? Like, yeah, different bodies come in different, like different people, different bodies are cool. Okay. Diabetes, not cool. Okay. Different bodies, cool. Obesity, not cool. Okay. Apple shape, pear shape. Man over here got small chest, big chest. Okay. Glutes, no glutes. Okay. Long head, small head. Okay. Hey, look. Hey, look. Fine. Okay. What's the issue? Nobody. I'm definitely feel like I'm body positive. I'm not body blind. I'm not health blind. I'm not sure what term I want to come to with that, but come on.
In the guise of critiquing, condemning, and demonizing black women, we are here in part because the right made y'all turn on fat black women as an emblem of the decline of Western civilization. And so, yeah, I need to leave
That's that neo-reactionary thing maybe that she's getting at.
her alone. She done went on there and got me tagged talking
That was her best idea right there.
fat black
She just left me alone.
women as an emblem of the decline of Western civilization.
Let me look at something.
And so, yeah, I need to leave her alone. She done went on there and got me tagged talking about she would invite me to a live and I'm just mad because a hit dog gonna holler something to that effect.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't say a hit dog gonna holler at all. I didn't put these videos in the little library down there that I uploaded, but let me go ahead and do it for a second. Hold on. It's just 2 60-second videos because I wanted you to see what I actually said. Hit dog. I've never actually even said hit dog gonna holler in my life. I honestly have not. I get people say it. I don't even say that. I use more like specific language if I want to say. I just don't even say that. Hold on. Let's see this. This is gonna take a second.
You keep misrepresenting data to shame black women.
Actually, I don't have to. I'm not going to. Hold on, Tay. Hold on, girl. I'm not going to do the whole record and airdrop it. I'll just let you hear what I said. Talking about hit dog gonna holler, huh?
You are not qualified for this conversation. You keep misrepresenting data to shame black women. I suspect for likes. Listen, if anybody wants to meet me synchronously on live and you want to make me look like a fool, I absolutely welcome you to. If you want to come against anything that I've said, if you think that I've put out data or numbers that is distorting information and like you think I'm trying to do something bad to black women, if you think that I just have a bad heart and you want to get me in public, please come on. Anybody can pull up and let's do it. Now, if you think I'm doing something for likes, if I wanted to get likes on social media, I would just show you my body.
That's right.
That would get some likes.
I know that's
Talking
right.
about data, numbers, and social issues, social cultural issues, and marriage in the black community hardly gets likes. In a sweatshirt, hardly.
Hey.
Sometimes you just don't want to hear what I have to say.
That's it. Now, this is what I said when I found out who she was, and
Dr. Tressie has responded since yesterday. This is the update. Okay. Listen, I did not know when Dr. Tressie, when I first...
This was when she responded to, because you can't see, it says, you don't have to fold, which I already showed y'all. When she said, you don't have to fold, but you've misinterpreted data 3 times now. You've shown up in my feed. I think you've been searching my name, Dr. Tressie. I think you checking for me, Dr. Tressie. You might be on there right now, Dr. Tressie. Okay, let me show you. I don't know, y'all, but it's probably about I popped up in your feed. I'm probably not in your algorithm, right? Let's not get into speculation. Shoot.
Dr. Tressie has responded since yesterday. This is the update. Okay. Listen, I did not know when Dr. Tressie, when I first responded to her initial comment yesterday, I didn't know that she wrote the book Thick. Okay, which I had her of the book Thick. Thick is a collection of essays, Black womanhood, covers racism, sexism, classism, beauty, culture, that kind of thing. She's also a New York Times columnist. She's an academic. Okay. She does a lot of things. I think we would have an excellent discussion. Some of you are calling it a debate. I'm not thinking of it like that. I think it's about bringing ideas together. Let's talk. If we maybe we have a more holistic picture of what is going on and how we need to be thinking about things, talking about things. And sincerely, if I have misrepresented data, we need to get the corrections.
I didn't hear Hit Dog Gonna Holler. I didn't hear actually anything to that effect. But she telling me you're 200 or so thousand followers, that's what you heard, that's what this Black woman is saying to you.
She done went
Where's the decorum?
on there and got me tagged talking about she would have.
She's a 50-year-old, a 49-year-old woman doing this, talking like this. These are the, I know my mother would never in her life, it could be nothing even close. I'm gonna say this because I think I need to say it. I don't usually get into it like that. I don't usually say things like this. I'm gonna say about this because we have an older Black woman acting like this on the internet, going on for 10 and a half minutes. We haven't even got to half of it. I don't know how long we're gonna be here. I have time today. Fridays are not my some content days. Okay. My work days. I don't see clients on Fridays. I do a lot of I'm working. We work a long work day, but the client. Anyway. I usually don't say this, but I'm gonna have to start saying more of it. I know my mother. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a little something personal. My mother would never in her life be talking like this, be doing this, would be talking to anybody like this, would be demeaning, passive aggressive like that. Never, ever. And not everyone has the blessing and fortune to have such a healthy, positive, y'all feel me right now, healthy, positive, respectable woman, older woman in their lives as a model. And instead, on the internet, we have these types of people being, as a sort of model. I mean, an elder is modeling how to be in older age. I'm sorry. I was serious. I am being serious, y'all, but it's making me laugh because this is not right. This is not right. You are these older ladies, and I don't mean that as shady at all. I'm being serious. These older ladies should not be acting like this, talking like this. This is embarrassing. It is. It's not a good look. But I know a lot. There are plenty that won't see it that way, and that's so sad. That's so bad. This is wrong to be acting like this, old like that. Let me tell you something else, y'all. Let me tell you something else. And I don't mean this to be mean. I want to make a larger point. I didn't even want to have to do this, y'all. We wouldn't even be here if she would have just accepted my invitation. If she didn't do this story, I wouldn't even have anything to talk about. Yeah, here we are. I'm going to say this. My mother is about 15 years older than Dr. Tressie. She looks much younger than Dr. Tressie. Y'all, I do not want y'all to get on. I do not want people to get on people about their looks or anything like that. That is not my intention. I want to be serious though. I want to make a point. Sometimes it's because of your spirit. And sometimes it's the spirit that's in you that's making people age in ways that they would not if their spirit was different. If their focus was different, what they paid attention to and how they lived their life was different. I don't know anything personal about this woman. What I do know is she looks older than 49. And people who look older than they really are, typically, you know, it's in the way in how you're living, it's who you are on the inside. And I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. If you want to see what my mom look, you know what? If I can pull a quick picture, I wish I knew exactly where. Let's see if I can. Where is that Thanksgiving post? I'm going back on my phone. There's so much video in here, content in here. So many pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff. Let me show you. See, that's November. Thanksgiving. Oh, so many things all mixed up. Oh my gosh, look at, wow. It's a beautiful picture of my grandparents. My goodness. I'll show you that another day. I'll show you. Look at my grandparents. My granddad's like, oh, the Nana, she's so cute. Let me tell you, she is, let's say, she is a grandmother. That is a Nana. I'm telling you, boy. Okay, hold on. I got so much stuff everywhere. So much stuff. Oh, okay. I should have just used a little scrolly thing and gone to a place where I knew there was going to be. Okay, okay, scroll right past it. This was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. My mom made an incredible meal. She's 15 years older. She's about 15 years older than Dr. Tressie. Let's just play the tape. Look at her. Look at her. That's that spirit. Come on. Now let me see. I'm sorry, y'all, but we need to start saying something.
It was built on the condemnation of so-called body positivity in the guise of critiquing, condemning, and
Tell me who looks 69. Well, my mom's not 69. I don't know why. She's 49. But my mom's about 15 years older. I rest my case on that one. We're going to keep going.
Demonizing Black women. We are here in part because the right made y'all turn on fat Black women as an emblem of the decline of Western civilization. And so, yeah, I need to leave her alone. She done went on there and got me tagged talking about she would invite me to a live and I'm just mad because a hit dog gonna
Never said it right.
Or something to that effect. And I mean, baby.
Nothing to that effect.
Hegemony was a hit dog gonna holler something to that effect. And I mean, baby, please. And again, I left alone. But it just felt so nasty.
They're going to use a word like that. They're going to use a word like nasty.
Still be doing the work of white reconstruction in this moment when it is not just ascendant but winning.
So then she aligns me with white reconstruction.
To be using that to eke out a little bit of attention, a little bit of change on the backs of Black women.
Say I'm doing this for attention and money on Black women's backs. This is just, if you can't see what's going on here, if you cannot see what's going on here, cannot make you see it. I hardly need to say anything else, but we gonna watch.
Y'all, 500,000 of us have been pushed out the labor market, fat and skinny alike, by the way. And a man ain't gonna save you because black men been pushed out too. And it just doesn't seem like the right time to be entertaining this foolishness. You know? Okay, I'm gonna go try to catch a plane home. Kudos. Okay, I'm still
She just couldn't help it.
waiting on my plane.
Came right on back.
I'm just gonna say a little bit more. Yeah, I deleted the first story because it was TMI about my own personal context because I have had a Bailey's and coffee.
So she been drinking. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You know, y'all know what Bailey's is. Bailey's and coffee. She trying to catch a plane. She be drinking at the airport. That's fine. Whatever.
Listen, here's the thing. Why don't we just leave fat black women alone? What if we did that? What if instead of trotting out a 2023 study on marriageability and BMI and income, you looked at all of the work on racial capitalism from everybody like Sandy Darity.
And this, come on, and if we would have had a conversation, I would have loved to hear this additional context that we should be considering. I would have honestly loved to hear it.
To Derek Hamilton that shows that marriage is not going to lift black people out of structural poverty. Even if you, as a couple, you know, you do the whole coupledom thing and you get ahead, earning the money and having the power to keep the money are two different things. But seriously, this is why I got in trouble about this on Blue Sky or whatever it is recently. When I was like, listen, I don't know if Lizzo's a good or a bad person, although she seemed to have gone a little lately, but whatever. Life is hard for everybody right now, and I try not to judge. But I know this. I know a lot of.
It's like when somebody says respectfully, but they're really not being respectful. They're going to say the most disrespectful thing right after that. And people say, "Well, I'm not judging you," and I'm one to definitely say, you know, we all make judgments all the time. But you know, when you say shady stuff, and it's like, well, you know, I'm just not judging. I mean, you know, sis. Yeah, this stuff is like so lame to me, to be straight up. That's just so lame to me. Like, if you can go direct. Just say, I think Lizzo is this. I think she, ooh. Instead of, well, you know, I'm not saying anything, but you are saying something. And people like that are just not trustable people, in my opinion. I don't have a research article to back that up for you. I got experiences with people like that, and they're just so shady, playing in your face and try to act like, you know, they try to act like they're not saying something, but they're saying something because they're indirect. She's very indirect. I think you gonna say something, say it direct, because you know what I mean. But you know, not everybody like that.
Us helped people like Chris Rufo.
Like, I'm just gonna say, you're indirect, Dr. Tressie. You're indirect. You're passive aggressive. I think you're shady, and you playing in people's face. I think you must think your people are dumb to be listening to you like this and be misleading them like that. And I think that, you know, Dr. Tressie, that if you were to tag me, and if anybody that really has some sense was following your page and you tag me or you put the reel up, I think they would come. I think someone will be able to say, maybe something's being misrepresented on your part, Dr. Tressie. And I think you must think people are dumb. This is not someone this is not someone who actually respects you, who would misrepresent and mislead you like this and paint narratives the way that she is. This is someone who actually like respects your intelligence, or you as a woman or man, whatever. I mean, like, come on. But see, unfortunately, people will too often think that, oh, the person that makes you feel good, or the person that says like, oh, it's okay, like, you know, don't listen to them, they're just trying to condemn you and demonize you. They think that that person's for them.
And all of the right wing that.
And I'm not saying she's intentional. I don't get into people's intentions and indirect motivations, because I do not know people's hearts. I think sometimes someone is like willfully, sometimes someone is willfully misleading, and sometimes someone just don't even know it. Okay, but regardless, the impact is what it is.
We now know agents of chaos, funded agents of chaos, turned that woman into an avatar for the coarsening or darkening of America that helped the Trump 2.0 administration solidify its almost full state capture.
I think she's making some kind of like insinuation about me here. Let's see. Something about being used, I think, like kind of by the government. Let's see what she says here.
Lately, but whatever. Life is hard for everybody right now, and I try not to judge. But I know this. I know a lot of us helped people like Chris Rufo and all of the right wing that we now know, agents of chaos, funded agents of chaos, turn that woman into an avatar for the coarsening or darkening of America.
Is she like insinuating that I'm an agent of chaos?
That helped the Trump 2.0 administration solidify its almost full state capture, meaning they used black femme bodies to further their aesthetic oppression of black people. Why are we still doing this? Why are we still participating?
I believe she's talking about me. Now, she's so indirect. She's not saying, Taylor, they're using you. Taylor, they're going to use that black femme body. Why did I say it like that? You know why I said it like that. They're going to use that black femme body, and they're going to use you as an agent of chaos. But she's so indirect. I'm like, you talking about me?
What you doing? Seriously, what are you doing?
There it is.
What are you doing? Attacking black women in this political moment, in this political economy.
When is the time?
Have you paid attention to what is happening in the world right now? You think that fat black women are your problem? Really?
I don't think I ever said fat black women are my problem.
Have you noticed that the Bill of Rights is now functional?
Fat black women, a fat woman, a fat anybody is their own. Someone being fat is their problem. Like, is there anything wrong with saying that? You being fat, and I'm not talking about, oh, well, the BMI says I'm overweight when really I'm lean and when really I'm athletic. No, I'm talking about you actually fat. Let's talk about a body fat percentage. Body fat percentage. I will talk about it. Matter of fact, let me get my marker. Put it on the list right now. Make sure I get into that. Since y'all want to talk about, well, I'm really not fat. Okay. Okay. Being fat, really actually fat. Now people just calling you fat. Now people using BMI to claim that you're overweight. But if you're really fat, that's your problem. You're not my problem. You're your own problem. I'm clear about that, huh? How about you my problem? You couldn't be my problem.
The rights is now functionally voided because the technological surveillance state is now larger and more networked. Black women are your problem? Really? Have you noticed that the Bill of Rights is now functionally voided because the technological surveillance state is now larger and more networked, more powerful, better financed than the freaking government? Have you
see when you start, people start conflating this, like no one's saying that entering into a surveillance state is not a problem. But that doesn't mean that people being fat is not a problem. Like both things can be problems at the same time. Okay. Now I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I've been a fitness professional. So I'm not a policy expert. I'm not a political person. Like I'm not a political expert. If I was, I'm sure I'd be talking about that. But I don't know why people act like it's surprising that I talk about marriage, family, health, and wellness when like that's my whole education and whole experience. All of my interests, talents, skill sets. I mean, it all kind of converges in this area, and then presenting it to people and helping people with it. So what's the issue with me talking about this?
Noticed that the 20th century institution has,
like, why would I be talking about all this stuff? Like if I was, people would be like, you're not qualified, you're not credentialed. I'd really be unqualified. So
has collapsed. And while, it might be nice to build something new, we ain't in the phase of building new. Have you noticed that black people are not just losing ground, they are being summarily punished for even trying to gain ground? And you want to talk about fat black women? That's what you want
Who is supposed to
to do?
who can talk about them? If I started talking about the surveillance state and the voiding of the Bill of Rights, people would be like, Taylor, you're not even what you doing talking about? You would really be saying, what you doing? Taylor, you get back in your lane, right? So this is a false equivalency when it's like you're saying, and I think I'm using that right in this case, like a false equivalency, like, oh, well, you're saying this, and so like, don't you know about that? It's like, well, just because I'm talking about this, does that mean that I don't think that that's important, or I cannot validate that that's a real thing going on, or we should be paying attention, or I need more education about this? Like, she's trying to make that kind of comparison, and you understand when people, teaching moment real quick, coaching moment, understand when people try to do that, you got to keep when you're synchronous conversation, you have to keep them on track. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this.
And let me just pull a little Francesca on you and do a little media analysis of what you're even trying to do. Girl.
And here, she's been personally attacking all throughout, but this is when she's coming a little bit more direct here. She's still not super direct. She's not talking to me, but girl, she's talking about me.
The ship has sailed on making a whole bunch of money in the attention economy, punishing Black women. You can't level up to that level. They already won, but will you?
So sad. First of all, obviously, I already said we're not doing this for money, we're not doing this for likes, whatever. But to be like, you ever heard that you never heard somebody hating on you that's doing better than you? I think that's real. Like, you coming at me like this? Why? Like, even if I was trying to like, hey, like, I'm really trying to get my content creation going. Like, I'm really trying to be like the one. I'm really trying to take over here. Like, I'm really trying. Why would you be hating on? Ask yourself, why would you be trying to get down on me like that? Huh? Like, you see, like, that's that hater stuff. that's that hater in you, baby. That's that hater in you. Boo boo. You would have called me boo boo. That's that hater.
About that, Black women. That's what you want to do.
You can see it in her face.
And let me just pull a little Francesca on you.
Like, you try to make me feel so small. Oh my gosh. Oh, how does that feel to be actively trying to do that? That's so, you too old, honestly.
And do a little media analysis.
I'm not being funny. Like, you actually too old for that.
Of what you're even trying to do. Girl, the ship has sailed on making a whole bunch of money in the attention economy, punishing Black women. You can't level up to that level. They already won, but you had to make the money 5-6 years ago. They don't need you anymore to be the good pick-me out of the crew and tell Black women if they don't lose weight, then they
the good pick-me out the crew. This is so hater. It's almost like, wow. Like, this is such a bad look. I can't imagine doing that myself. I don't do that. And my mother, my grandmother, women, oh my gosh, would never do something like this. Come at especially, I mean, anybody would never, ever, ever happen. But then you're supposed to be an older woman that I think is supposed to be helping Black people. And this is how you coming? This is how you coming at us? At me? Little old me?
Ship has sailed on making a whole bunch of money in the attention economy, punishing Black women. You can't level up to that level. They already won, but you had to make the money 5-6 years ago. They don't need you anymore to be the good.
That's messed up. That's messed up to just be saying this to somebody.
Pick me out of the crew and tell Black women if they don't lose weight, then they deserve what happens to them, and they're gonna be poor if they don't get married. And so losing weight is in their economic as well as their personal and spiritual best interest. What are you doing?
And this reminds me of, like, she's an academic, right? like when teachers, you ever heard a story, and maybe this has happened to you, where a teacher has told a student that they were stupid and that they can't learn it. Like people that's just so messed up, man. And I'm not talking about because, oh, it just hurt me so much. You see what's going on here with me and how I'm hearing it and how I'm seeing what's up. But I'm saying, like, that's just messed up to say to somebody, like, they don't need you anymore. That stuff for real, like, sticks with people for real. Like when people say you say like stuff like that, that's just messed up. That just says so much to me about your spirit, your heart. And I think that's messed up. I think it's messed up when you like come out somebody being like making those kinds of, that's condemning in my opinion. Like that's real condemning. I remember I said something to someone I really care about. I said, I'm probably more helpful. And I was really, really upset. I was really upset. And I should have stopped talking and I didn't. And this was before I was able to take timeouts with myself and with other people as good as I do now. I was so upset. And I said, I'm probably more helpful in this than you ever will be. Oh my gosh. Like immediately, I just knew. It's making me upset, honestly, thinking about it, because that was so messed up. I came back and said, I shouldn't have said that. I know what I was upset about. You see, I'm actually upset about that because I was messed up. And saying that kind of stuff to people is wrong. I'm upset about what I said, honestly. And so I went back, I apologized. I would say just a couple minutes went by. It just sat so poorly with me. It was wrong. It was wrong. I don't usually get that like upset, and this is apart from that, y'all, but we got to be able to check ourselves, you know what I mean? Because someone isn't always going to come back and say that really stuck with them or that really hurt them. But it really can, when we don't go back and correct ourselves. And I think there should be something in us that says like, I went too far. I went too far, you know? So, wow, I definitely was not expecting to do that, but that made me think of that. And, you know, the way we talk to people, it actually matters. Now, me calling her old, I'm thinking about me calling her old. I'm being serious though. I'm being serious. I do think she's too old for that. I'm looking at your actual age, but other kind of little comments and stuff. I think it's messed up to be talking to people in certain kind of ways, y'all. So let me get some water and continue on. And if I go too far, if I've gone too far in any way in this conversation, you know, I welcome you to tell me, because I don't want to be that person, you know. Wow, that was. So, you know, if we're saying stuff, crazy stuff, you know, I understand it can happen, but you know, we shouldn't be saying certain stuff. And if it does pop off, we should go back, I think, and say like, hey, I know that was that was messed up. Not just messed up. I'm sorry, because I was wrong. It was wrong. Let's continue.
You ain't gonna make no money like that. That ain't even good social media strategy. You know, if they want that message, there is now a fully financed, powerful podcast bro network that can do that. You ain't gonna make no money doing this, mama. Do something else. Anyway, it's well documented that I hate couple content and marriage content and wedding content and relationship.
Why is that?
Content. God, I hate the relationship content.
Why? She didn't say why, but we could make some guesses. I'm not even going to speculate, because we need to start wrapping this up. But she said she hates relational content. She hates marriage content.
And it was just.
I wonder why. I'm not going to speculate, but I can't help what happens what y'all think. I do have some thoughts. I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to say it, because I have some self-control.
It's fine for me to just dislike it when, again, there were other avenues and people were just doing what they were doing. But I don't know, y'all. Things are real urgent right now. We ain't got time for a whole lot of foolishness. And so, using your master's in counseling therapy to tell Black women they need to lose weight, and you misrepresenting a demographic study to make it sound smart, math washing your social media strategy for attention.
I've never heard of that, math washing. Let me go back and hear what because I'm getting kind of fatigued.
To make it sound smart, math washing.
It's just, she's so rude. She is so rude. In my opinion, that's my subjective experience. She sounds rude.
Your social media strategy for attention. I mean, I don't know. Maybe go learn how to shoot a gun and grow a garden instead. I mean, we're going to need something better than this. Relationship content ain't going to save us. Anyway, yes, it was beneath me.
Of course she's biased, right? Because she just hates relationship content in general. She hates marriage content for whatever reason.
Yes, I should have left that girl alone.
Why you say oh my goodness. My mother would never be in the airport like this. I'm telling you that right now. And I'm using that as a contrast. My mother, maybe a different kind of woman. It's a contrast. Like, let's just look. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is better than the real side. This is what we're doing out there. I didn't do this. She did this.
Blah, 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 blah. But I am tired. And the revolution is taking a long time to pop off. And my flight is late and delayed. And I haven't slept in a day and a half. And times are just too serious for foolishness. It's not fun anymore. It's not cute anymore. And above all, for the love of Black Jesus, JFK, and Martin Luther King, leave fat Black women alone.
Y'all, have you ever heard of bird hands? I'm going to show you something real quick. You can make your own. Let's see if I can share my screen with you. We almost done, y'all. Woo! We almost done, y'all. I think you can see this. Can you see this? Oh, you can't see it. Add to stage. Before presenting, remove the other media. Okay. Add to stage. Okay, remove, add to stage. All right. So it's actually, okay.
Bird hands. Beware.
As soon as she starts doing this with her hands when she talks, you are in danger. This is the universal hand signal of manipulation. That bird hand, that's her way of saying, shut up, while trying to inject projections and delusions straight into your brain. Her bird hands are trying to turn your brain into a bird brain. Oh, no. If you let...
Who's in charge here?
Recognizing bird hands is kind of a newer phenomenon amongst the social zeitgeist. Today we will be exploring what is it, where did it come from, and does it hold any merit? Let's get into it.
I'll let you check it out yourself if you'd like. We'll get back here. I'm not even gonna get into that speculation. Okay, remove so many things to do here. Seems like people have producers and such. Maybe one day I will have some kind of show where some kind of producer.
Get another pinata.
Doing this kind of stuff for me, clicking around.
Of Black Jesus, JFK, and Martin Luther King. Leave fat Black women alone. Get another pinata. It's tired, and we got one foot in the grave.
See, that's that aging. Some faster than others. All right. Rest of her story. My goodness, y'all. 2 hours. This was good though. This was fun. This was nice. I hope that you got something out of it. I'm definitely curious to know. Would love to hear.
Oh, Amy,
comments.
rich people used to rich right. No, they fucking didn't. They murdered people too.
And her stories were sponsored by Jumbo Margs, Jumbo Airport Margs. I did not say that. She said that, right? Well, this certainly was an experience. I did not mean to put that. I removed. Certainly was. Okay, hold on. We want to thank. I can't. We want to thank Dr. Tressie McMillan Cottom for her story. Thank you. Yeah, we got a lot more to do, y'all. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Drop in the comments, agree, disagree with whatever. You're welcome to, please. And I have a whole lot more for you, y'all. We're going to be talking about, oh my gosh, so much more stuff. I'm gonna do a reaction to Cam Newton and Dimitri Wiley. I'm a little late, but I think that would be a good one to do. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna talk about men having low testosterone. We're gonna talk about the parallels between the dating market and the financial market. We're socioeconomic status and race, body fat percentage, and what more issues with the BMI and how you can actually measure your body fat, and child support, what's actually going on there. I mean, there's literally so much what's happening with debts, particularly women, and the financial stress and how that's impacting them. There is so much. The intersection between marriage and money, we've got a lot there. It's just, I mean, social and cultural issues, what's happening as we age, class differences, so much for us to do. So I really appreciate you appreciating the work. If you want to join the YouTube member channel, that's a way to support the work, just $5, or you can choose a $10 tier to help to support, so I can keep doing more and more for us. I'll be when we go into next season, we'll definitely have those opportunities to participate live with these kinds of things. So I'm really looking forward to that and continuing to grow what we've got going on. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your support and your engagement, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.